Welcome to What's Really Happening in Southern Utah, hosted by me, McKennan Hansen. Today we have in studio Scott Phillips and Kathy Long from Wreaths Across America. Let's find out why they do this for our community, how we can get involved, and what's going on in our community at the different locations of where this will be hosted. Scott, welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you, McKenna. Thanks for having us.
Yes, of course. So tell us about Wreaths Across America and why you got involved.
That's a good question. It started about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago. We had a group of women from the Daughters of the American Revolution here, the local Bald Eagle chapter. They came to council. They wanted us to get involved. I had seen it a year earlier in Enoch, and I was deeply moved by the program and the reverence and the respect to all the veterans. And I said, why are we not doing this in Cedar City? And so then they came to council and wanted someone to step up and take it on, and we all thought it was a great idea, but none of us wanted to take it on, right?
Yes.
So this went on for a few months, and finally I could see that they didn't have anybody willing to step up and take charge, and so I said, okay, I will do it, but I want to have a super dynamite committee behind me to make it happen, because we have to raise a lot of money to do this program.
Yes.
So I stepped about, and I got about 13 people on this committee, and they are dynamos that work with us. And Kathy Long is one of them, and I roped Kathy into helping us with it. But Wreaths Across America is a way for us to pay tribute to the veterans of all lines of service who have given so much for this country, and we want to make sure that they are not forgotten. We want to honor their service, and we want people to remember them. So at Christmas time, we have flags out there, and we lay beautiful, fresh balsam pine wreaths on each of their graves. They come from Maine. The wreaths all come from Maine.
Oh, wow.
And they're all trucked out here.
What an incredible event, and getting involved in those things. Kathy, when Scott approached you about being on the committee, what were your passions in getting involved and helping to the extent possible?
Well, I told Scott, you know, I do a lot of fundraising for a lot of other nonprofits, and so it just kind of was just another step, doing another fundraiser, which is great, and I love doing it. So I like being involved in the community, so it helps. And we have 1,200, right? Is that?
Yeah, we have about 1,200 veterans out there.
In just the Cedar City Cemetery.
That is correct.
Yeah.
What an incredible number.
Well, and let me tell you, last year we had a little snafu. It was our first year, and we went off the sexton's list from the cemetery. They have a giant map, and they're all marked in blue where all the veterans are buried. But unless the family indicates or the mortuary indicates, there's no way for the sexton in the city to know who's a veteran. And we missed about 300 people last year because they had about 850 names on their list. And people came up to us afterwards and said, my father didn't get a wreath, or my grandfather didn't get a wreath. And we said, I'm so sorry. So this year we are erring on the side of having plenty of wreaths.
Yes.
We have taken the last 6 months and we've gone through every single headstone at that cemetery, just walking row at a time, to say, well, here's a veteran right here, and they're not on the list. And now we're trying to incorporate that and get a new map created so we can be a lot more effective.
So not only are you spending time to go and get the funds for these wreaths to lay on this, you're double checking the list and checking it twice.
Exactly, just
Sounds
like Santa Claus would do.
Scott is the veteran Santa Claus. So with this information, how many lives are we touching with making sure that the wreaths are appropriate with that, and the different factors that play into there, because wreaths are a big deal around Christmas.
They are.
They symbolize a lot of different things for people.
Yeah, the greenery, the everlasting life, what evergreen provides. They all have red bows, and that's the sacrifice that they made with their blood or their tears or whatever. And they come in huge semi-trucks, which are then donated. The truckers donate their time to drive out. Some of them are their own trucks. We don't know exactly yet who will be our drivers, but we always provide a gift for the drivers, you know, because they've come a long ways across the country. And
now
then
tell us where these wreaths are from.
From Maine. They come from Maine.
Oh my goodness.
And they're all made out there, and then they are shipped. And we don't know exactly. They usually arrive a couple, 3 days before the event. And the event date which is December 18th, by the way,
Yes, yes.
2 o'clock.
at 2 o'clock in Cedar City. That's the national day. Arlington National Cemetery sets the date. So we could have beautiful weather, we could have a blizzard, but we don't have a choice in when we do it. And there will be about 2,600 other cities across America on this very same day doing what we're doing here in Cedar City. It's an amazing.
What an incredible cause. And it's so touching that people in this community continue to come together, especially around the holidays, to do such great things. Coming up, we're going to talk about the details and how to get involved. Welcome back to What's Really Happening in Southern Utah with your host, McKennan Hansen. Today we have Wreaths Across America with Scott Phillips and Kathy Long. Going over the details, Kathy, how do we start to get involved with this? Where can we start really making an impact, coming up to the event on December 18th?
Well, obviously we need donations to purchase the wreaths that will be placed on the headstones. But volunteers are a great way to get involved. Volunteering is a great way to get involved too. And we will need some people on the 16th of December, which is the Thursday prior to the event, to come and help place flags, which will be markers for the veterans' gravestones, which will then tell us where to place the wreaths, which is where the wreaths will be placed. And then we need help cleaning the headstones prior to the event also, because we want them to look nice. So if anyone is interested in getting involved in volunteering, that's the day to do it, the 16th of December at 1 o'clock at the cemetery. If you want to get involved, you can call Scott Phillips. I don't know your phone number off the top of my head.
It's 435-701-7884.
Yeah, you're just a name in my phone. So call Scott. He will direct you, let you know what else to bring. We need people who will clean the headstones. So we need some people with rakes, brooms, and
a little bit of rag and some vinegar is what I remember cleaning headstones with. Okay.
Well, it's mostly just most of these are flat headstones, and so they get covered with leaves or snow, depending on it. And so you can't know who it is unless you can sweep it off to find out who's there.
Yes.
That's the problem with that so much.
And just a reminder, it's December 16th at 1 o'clock in the Cedar City Cemetery. Are there other
yes,
cemeteries
now that's
being
the
involved?
setting. That's to set up the American flags.
Setting up the American flags and cleaning off the headstones so that our veterans really pay tribute, and we can pay tribute to them so that we can recognize them and know where to put the wreath.
That's correct. So when the volunteers and the family members, now family members are going to know where someone is buried, but a volunteer may not. But if they identify and see that there's an American flag over there, they will know to go place that wreath there. The wonderful thing about this that I just love is when you place that wreath on that veteran's grave, you are asked to repeat out loud the person's name and thank them for their service.
Oh,
so
what an incredible
you hear
energy.
these little teeny echoes all over the cemetery of volunteers saying, "Thank you, Sergeant Kleinrollo, for your service to America." And it's just very touching. And we're going to have some bagpipers out there playing Amazing Grace.
Oh, how
we're
fun.
We're pulling on your heartstrings.
Yes, I was going to say this is totally hitting my heartstrings. However, this is that season. This is that season for giving and donating and really becoming a part of the community with the service that you can provide, because even though some of us may not be able to donate the funds, we can donate time, which is almost just as valuable. So with the donations, I believe it's a $15 donation for each wreath, correct?
It is. It's $15 per wreath, but if a person buys 2 wreaths, we, the organization, gets a third one free from the national office. So we're encouraging people to write us a donation check for $30 because we'll get a third wreath free in our total count.
How incredible.
So we have to raise around $18,000 every year to do this program.
Okay.
And the people of this community in this area have been extremely generous. So we're not at our goal yet. We're getting there, but we're not there yet. We're probably $4,000 or $5,000 away from reaching our final goal. So we got some work to do. So we're asking the residents and the people watching this YouTube to say, pitch in, let's do this, let's get it done.
Yes, and please reference the bottom of your screen for the address in which you can send your 15, as minimum as $15, as much as whatever your heart desires.
We've had $1,000 checks, we've had $500 checks, so people have been very generous.
And make sure you mail those before December 5th to make sure that we have the funds appropriate and received by then, to make sure that we have enough wreaths in our coffers to make sure we're impacting those people's lives. Coming up in our next segment, we're going to show where these events are happening and how you can really get involved the day of the event, and where you can show your support for these incredible veterans who have served our lives in our country and our communities to the umpteenth extent. Welcome back to What's Really Happening in Southern Utah. Today we're talking about Wreaths Across America with Scott Phillips and Kathy Long, and what an incredible cause it is in our community, and what we can do to really get behind it and make sure that our veterans are honored during these holidays. Scott and Kathy, tell us where the locations are happening, how to get involved, and kind of the logistics of December 18th.
Well, in Iron County, there's going to be 4 different cemeteries that participate in Wreaths Across America. They're all on December 18th, as I said before, because that's set by the national office. But in Summit and Paraguna, their programs will begin at 10 a.m.
Okay.
In Enoch, they'll begin at 12 noon.
Okay.
And in Cedar City, it's at 2 o'clock. Now, I like that because it's December and that might be the warmest part of the day. Who knows what the weather's going to be like, right?
Well, we are in Southern Utah. It changes every 5 minutes.
I'm telling you, last year the weather was gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous.
Yes.
But we will have a major tent set up near this all takes place near the Veterans Memorial at the Cedar City Cemetery for our portion. But we are expecting a very large crowd. And Cedar City Police is going to be there helping with traffic control.
Okay.
We're going to have signage. People can only enter one way into the cemetery and one way out of the cemetery. That's the only way we can accommodate this large crowd.
Yes, of course.
And we've dealt with it. The fire department is going to have that big, huge American flag flying out on Main Street right in front of it all. And we've got a great program of some singers, and we've got a color guard being presented, and some wonderful tributes to veterans. So we really want people to come out and pay tribute to the veterans.
And that's the 4 locations. So Summit and Paraguna at 10 a.m.
Correct.
Enoch at high noon.
There you go.
And Cedar City at 2 p.m. Make sure you're getting to your events early to make sure that there's adequate parking, and or to make sure you're accommodating other people's parking needs. Park further away if you are able, so that the parking is accommodated for that. With these events, how many veterans are we planning on honoring in the Summit, Paraguna, and Enoch areas, as opposed to Cedar Cities exclusively?
Well, Cedar has the majority of them, and I think Enoch has somewhere around 200, 250.
Okay.
The others maybe have 100 total. So we're looking in the neighborhood of 15 to 1,600 people all told. And you think about the sacrifice those 1,600 to 1,700 people have made on our behalf. So
Right.
we could all be free, and we could all worship and do what we need to do. And we need to honor them at this time of year. It's very important.
Right. So just a quick recap. On December 16th at 1 p.m., you can go to your cemeteries and make sure that those headstones and markers are cleaned off and cleared and marked with an American flag, to ensure that the people on the 18th know where to take the wreaths and set the wreaths. In honor of those veterans, we also say their names and thank you for their service at the side of the headstone, to make sure that we do a full circle honor to the best extent possible. With the different volunteers in place, please contact Scott Phillips. His number is listed below. Make sure and contact him and go through the details where you are able to help. The donations that can be made in various amounts. The website is also listed below, that you can go and make sure that you are mailing those checks to the appropriate address, and if you have any questions, who to reach out to. Kathy, in closing, where do you find your passion with this volunteer experience specifically? Where do you find your flame?
So my grandfather was a veteran of World War II, and so being able to honor other veterans for their service, to thank them for what they did, for the issues that they had during the wars, is also thanking my grandfather. And I know that there's at least one Civil War veteran in our cemetery, and I think that's an important veteran to honor and an important way to honor them with the flags. When you go to the cemetery before the placing of the flag of the wreaths, the whole cemetery just has all these flags on it, and it's a wonderful visual for anyone that comes by that day. And then with the wreaths on top of the flags, it's absolutely beautiful. It's wonderful, and it's a great way to show that we do care.
And McKenna,
Right.
I know people have asked, because they've asked me, well, how come you're doing it now? We have Memorial Day, we have Veterans Day, but the holidays and Christmas time is all about family and connection and connectivity and staying in touch. And we don't want these wonderful veterans to feel that they have been forgotten, because they have not. And so that's why we do it at Christmas time.
That's incredible. And it's incredible as you guys tell your stories. I myself I get cold chill wave after cold chill wave after cold chill wave through this experience, because it's really empowering to create those synergy experiences for people, and especially people coming into the community, realizing what our community does and enforce of those items, and making sure people are remembered and people are honored. It's such an incredible experience. Make sure you don't miss it. It's on December 18th at 2 p.m. in the Cedar City Cemetery. Details on the website listed below for other locations and other ways you can contribute. Thank you so much for joining us, Scott and Kathy. It's been an honor to be a part of this and a part of this show, because, again, you guys touch so many lives that it's incredible, you know, what we can create today, and kind of the tidal wave that we never see, because we started today in making sure that those veterans were honored. Thank you for joining us on What's Really Happening in Southern Utah, hosted by me, McKennan Hansen. Thank you.